Hello. Welcome back to our episode of the Chambers podcast. I know. It's been a while, but we are back now. And I want to invite my co-host to set. Welcome, Bwana.
Mi kwa jina ni mzee mzima. Asanteni sana manze. It's been a minute, it's been long, but
tumerudi.
We
Those
so
who are outside
excited.
the county, we are back now. And our fellow co-host.
Yeah, tuko sawa.
Uko sawa. Nataka kujintroduce ama tuendelee tu.
No, I'm good.
You're good. Hi. Adams, Calvin, and Anne. So today we are going to talk about handling uncertainties and discovering passion. I think the question for today is, I think in this particular generation, we usually have very many people who end up joining or doing a particular cause, and then by then they're like, is this really what I wanted to do? Or even from the word go, unauliza, what do you want to do? You are like, I'm not too sure. Then your dad or your parent or whoever advisor is like, you know what? Go and do this particular thing. And you go do it, and it is not what you wanted to do, but you still didn't have another option. And then the question is, how do we handle it in this particular situation and this particular time? So nataka kuwauliza, tuanze na nani? Tuanze na Adams. Ushaikuwa in such a situation. What you're doing currently, is it something that you wanted to do? Is it what you wanted to do from the word go? And you see yourself doing it for the long run?
Honestly, I don't know, but one thing I know is...
you don't know, but one thing you know.
One thing I know is...
Sema tu pun intended. Lakini ni sawa.
What I'm doing right now is not what I wanted to do, because from the start, when I finished high school and the results were out, I never had something that I wanted to do. So it was my parent who chose it for me, and I was okay. Because for the time being, it seemed appropriate, and it seemed like something that, why not try it out?
Si mbaya. Naweza jaribu.
Yeah.
It's prestigious.
No, yeah, but they kuna ile kutisha wana kijiji and everything.
Alafu cause unaingia na kutisha instead.
Yeah, that's when I realized I'm messing up. But then, I don't know, honestly. Right now, I'm at a crossroad. I don't know if I'm going to pursue it. Or not. I just want to finish school.
You just want to finish.
Yeah.
Malize, then you see the next step.
Very interesting.
Bwana Calvin.
I think mine is a different view. I didn't want to do what I'm doing right now. I had something else. But after finishing high school and now thinking about it, through it, this is what I want to do. Like literally, this is what I am doing. This is what I want to do in the long run. I know at the end of the day it might change, but for now my passion and my heart is there.
So let me ask, by the time you're finishing high school, it is what you wanted to do. Like you chose something you wanted to do, but in high school is when you didn't think this is what you'd do.
Well, after high school, now after I'm done with the exams, we are waiting for the results to come out. They actually did come out. So the next year, before we could do the second revision, I had time to revise and go through the courses. And then kazi ya Mungu inanga makosa, COVID came. So when COVID came, now that's when I now started seeing that whatever I wanted to do, I cannot do.
Let's get practical. Yeah, what did you want to do?
I wanted to do medicine. I wanted to do medicine. I'm very... Unaona mikono yangu huwa shake straight.
No.
I always wanted to do medicine. So,
alafu COVID ikakushtua.
So in high school, mimi nilikuja, nilianza kuumwa na macho, nikasema dando hiyo, daktari anavanga glasses. Alafu unajua mimi nilikuwa naishi naambiwa ati handwriting yako ni mbaya. Hii ni ya daktari bro, hii ni ya daktari. But anyway, so COVID came, and then I realized that honestly I am not ready to be a frontline warrior. I want to do things behind. So that's when now I started seeing myself in this other profession.
Do you want to tell people what it is?
Yeah. Unajua nataka mafans mkwe, mimi ni wakili pale nafanyanga tick. But yeah, seriously, mimi nafunga watu sahi. But seriously, I'm doing law right now, and I think it's something I want to pursue like in the long run. So yeah.
Oh, that's good. I think for me, when I finished high school, I wanted to do something. So when I finished high school, I wanted to do something. Alafu results zikatoka, nikaona sijafanya vibaya sana, naweza apply for courses zingine. Then nika apply. My first choice was actually law. Interesting.
Very nice.
Yeah. Alafu government ya Kenya wakasema hukupita sana kufanya law.
No, I always feel like whatever you choose first in your choices, you never even get it.
No, I know people who did. Yeah,
people get it actually.
People do. Yeah. So I was left in that particular situation of what do you want to do? Then my dad was just like, see, you just put this particular cause, and I put that one, and that's what I ended up doing. I think I had such a such turmoil settling on that course, because first of all mimi nilikuwa najua mimi na physics high school hatukuwa marafiki, alafu unaniambia ati nikuje university ati nafanya engineering. Yeah, tulikuwa na tough conversations with God basically, because nilikuwa namwambia me I don't see it, but for some reason I got so much peace about that decision. Like I prayed about it. I was like, God, this is where I've been called to. Do I go ahead? Because sababu my mom is the one who'd be like, okay, sasa daddy amesema hivi, but what do you want? How do we help you, you know? And even akiniuliza hiyo, I didn't have any other option. But anyway, did engineering. Grateful to God I managed to finish, but right now do I see myself pursuing it? No, I don't. So that has been my story. Let me ask you, because I've shared for me how I managed to handle that bit of uncertainty was, for me, I definitely took time to pray, ended up seeking counsel like from my parents, and settled on the course that basically they chose for me. How was it for you? How did you handle the uncertainty that came with not knowing what it is you want to do?
I haven't handled it.
You have
Bro, I'm still in it. Yeah, honestly I don't know. I'm just lost. Yep.
And if you are asked, it's an open check, money is not an issue or whatever, what is it that you'd want to do long term?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah, I don't know.
What do you get? What is, as we're saying, discovering passion? What is it you're passionate about?
I can't say right now I have something that I really, really like doing, because I think one thing that I've really come to understand is with time, I always lose interest in things that I say I have interest in them. So honestly, right now, I feel like saying there's something that I would want to do or something I would want to pursue because I like it right now. I feel like I'll be lying to myself and everything. So right now, I'm just in a phase where I'm just praying to God.
Yeah.
I can get to understand what I want, or I can get to understand what He has for me.
Yeah.
Honestly, right now I'm just lost. Yeah.
I think it's an interesting statistics that Calvin you're giving about how many times people get to change careers.
Yeah. Unajua uzuri ya kuwa wakili ni you work with data anyway.
Fake,
Serious.
facts.
Yeah, in fact. Yeah, in a person's lifetime you get to change your careers at least 3 times. So I know right now I want to do law and that is what I want to pursue, but I'm not sure that is what will happen after 5-10 years. So yeah, you still have that chance to change like 3-4 times.
Yeah.
By the time you retire you have that. Yeah.
That's true. I think in this, I have been in that space of so much uncertainty and not knowing what does the next step entail. I think even by the time I was finishing school, and then, you know, unamaliza shule and it's like everyone has these questions. So what are you doing? Are you applying for internships? Me na I'm just thinking of engineering. Hey, natetemeka nasema no thanks. But what I have been learning, and something that I've seen true even in other people's lives and, you know, talking to people, is each and every step of the way God guides. The question is, what has He put in front of you at that particular time? For me, for the longest time, it was my course, 5 years course, finish. I think by the time unafikanga mahali unachoka, guy, third year was, I think, the worst. Oh my gosh. So you get to a point, but then what has He put in front of you? He put engineering in front of me. I did, and I finished. And I think even now, as I am still transitioning, I feel like each step of the way, literally, God opens doors. If you'd asked me a year ago if I would be where I am right now, I would have told you, oh, no way. As in, I would never even have imagined it. So trusting God even in the step by step and still doing and being diligent in what He's given you really helps. Yeah.
I think I feel this way. In as much as we can say we are the story about trusting God, I feel like before you make that decision, in as much as you have, okay, you can say our parents, that's one thing I think also our parents need to consider before they make this choice for you, or they ask you to take something that you really, really don't even know if you're good with it.
Yeah.
You know, they need to understand that, you know, making that choice of taking up that career, let's say you're going to see it to the end through, it's like, you know, it's like a prison. Honestly, I look at it because it's like, let me use this analogy. It's like getting a key, getting into a house that is haunted, and then closing it, and then throwing out the keys. Because, you know, there's no going back. The moment, because those years, in as much, I always hear people saying you can change courses. There are years that have been wasted and you can never go back to recover them.
Actually, I know a really good number of people who began and changed course.
Yeah.
And in the changing, they literally found whatever it is that they are really passionate about doing right now.
But yeah, at the same time, that's time that's been wasted,
But I
and you
think
can't
also,
recover it.
in that time that you're talking about, like for example, I am doing law, so I get to second year and then I feel like this is not what I want to do. I want to go back to doing medicine. You know, those 2 years, there's something I learned. We
Yes.
can't say that it was lost
For
years.
sure.
Yeah.
It was lost years because
Imagine-
no,
They
because the
weren't
thing is,
lost
ask
years.
most people who have changed their courses, what did they get from what they were studying
You
initially?
see, it's the
Nothing.
same thing. We talk about. We did. What will I say? Algebra in primary school. We don't use it. Do we use it? But if you look at it, literally, there is a certain place you use the algebra without you knowing. So ideally, you learn something in law school, which ideally you're doing. You're not, for example, a pastor, but you won't see yourself applying it, but you are at some point.
If you
So yeah,
ask me,
they're not lost years. Sorry.
I don't think I agree with Calvin in that they are not lost years. If you look at it in terms of just the academic sense, that you'd studied something that you'll probably never use ever again, you will consider it as lost years. But if you look at it in terms of a wholesome sense, during those 2 years as you are still discovering, how you even landed on what it is you wanted to do was because of the 2 years you spent in this other cause. If you hadn't spent the time in this other cause, you probably wouldn't have known, I'm not passionate about this is something else I'm passionate about. And I genuinely think that life is more than just schoolwork. In the 2 years you made friends in that course that you did. In the 2 years you went and had experiences that you would not have had elsewhere. In the 2 years you seeked God and asked him, told him, hizi vitu ni ngumu, nifanye nini. I think there's more like looking at it in a more wholesome way outside just looking at the academic sense. Because if you ask me, as of right now, I don't see myself using engineering. Are you telling me that the past 5.5 years zilikuwa wasted years? I genuinely don't think so, because I've grown in so many aspects other than school. Yeah.
Wow, honestly, yeah.
I do think so. And then the other thing, I think there's also room for people to shift courses. My experience is I finished my course, but I also know people who did a year, 2 years, and say, this is not it. And they shifted, now they've graduated, they're doing so well in the new field they're in. So there's room for both. There's room for both.
I think for me, I look at it in two ways. One is if you're doing what you didn't want to do, but it's your parents who told you to do it, you have the option of doing it and finishing it, and then you tell them, here are the certificates, you have fun, now let me go do what I wanted to do. And also, if they allow, you can now leave. At your second year you decide acha mimi niende zangu nikafanya kitu ingine. It's still an option, but sometimes it's important that you be in good terms with your parents. So if this is what they want and you see yourself like you see you can finish, just finish. Yeah.
I genuinely think there's an aspect of honoring your parents and respecting your parents that God honors. I know sometimes that's like a very difficult discussion to have, but I know that there's something about honoring parents that has a blessing in it. I know an example of someone who went to a particular school, then the parents were like, no, we need you to move that school. And at that time, alikuwa hataki kabisa. But in them agreeing, regardless, like I feel like there was so much resistance. In them agreeing, eventually you come and see, this is why, like this was the importance of doing that. So I think there's also an in that. Do you think that the society has put so much pressure on people to, number one, finish courses, number two, to go to courses that are, let's say, zenye ziko na majina, that's what's leading to people doing things that they don't end up pursuing?
Yeah, I feel so. I think I agree with that. Because most people want to do courses because you go to high school, a good number of people want to be lawyers, want to be engineers, want to be doctors. Yeah. Architectures. Besides that, you find out kidogo sana they want to do these other courses, and the reality is we can't all be all those. I don't know.
Yeah.
That sometimes I think society has really lied to us that it's gonna work and everything. That's not how the world is, and that's not how the world works. So I think we need to sit back and just accept that. In as much, because the other question that we need to ask ourselves is, right now we're being there. I think going around. Let's say if you're a student back in high school. There are services that we are receiving, and the people who are giving those services. Because it, like the same way you've been served, there need to be someone in that slot given 10, 20 years to come.
Yeah.
So, and things need to keep on moving. Yeah.
Society pressure.
I think the practical example is when we were in high school, and we were now given the chance to select the courses we want to do.
Yeah.
The booklet I was given personally, I think 99% of the courses Miss Kwanazijua. Hadi sahi I can't remember their names, yes. But that speaks to like a few professions being nitasemaje?
Elevated above
That's
the
the
rest.
word. Yeah, some few professions being elevated, ideally, which is not a good thing. I think I have come to discover that there is a lot you can do. Some you don't think you can be trained to do, but I think there is a lot you can do out here. So let's do our research before we settle on one particular career, because our parents are doing it or our friends want us to do it. Yeah, something like that.
Okay, as we wind up, I want you to tell me, what do you think is the place of passion in determining what it is you're going to do in the future? And a parting shot, what would you tell someone who's in that particular place of struggling and figuring out what to do?
I think I'd say passion is good, but at the end of the day, I don't think it matters that much, because as much the same way I've said, and the same way Calvin and Sema, like you might find at this time of the year, this time of your life, this is your passion and it changes and everything. I feel like just praying about it. Honestly, you can have those passions and everything, and they keep on changing. I mean, will you keep on changing? We need to, I think, what's your purpose in life besides the passion? I mean, if everyone was to go with their passion, I don't think the world would be, I think there will be chaos. I feel like let's go with what God has in place for us. Yeah.
Okay. I want to ask, so you don't think that what's the purpose that God has destined you for is not necessarily aligned to your passion?
If it's aligned, well and good.
Are there instances when it's not?
Yeah. I mean, there are people who are like, I don't know, I want to say it this way. It's not a passion. You thought it was your passion. Because if you go with our current feelings, the way we feel and everything,
okay,
we might end up messing
feelings
up.
Coming.
Yeah. So, at this point, you might feel like, at this time in your life, you might feel like, this is something I'm passionate about. And then you come and realize later in life, it was a circumstance that made you feel like you enjoy it. So, yeah.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
I think circumstances change with time. And I think for me, there's a difference between passion and interests. I have interest in very many things. I don't know what I'm passionate about. But I think it's important for you to embrace that, let me call it a cocoon. Embrace that cocoon of, you don't know what you want to do. You're being told that this is what you're supposed to do. You're thinking about this. Embrace it. At the end of the day, you'll choose one. Whichever you go with, don't beat yourself up, because at the end of the day, it's not what you wanted to do, or it's not, you don't like it. Sometimes, as we've said, there's room for change, there's room for learning, there's room for a lot of things. So embrace that. And as Adams has rightly said, God does a lot of things, and he gives you a lot of peace. Whether that is what he wanted you to do or not, he gives you a lot of peace. So keep on depending on him. Very important.
At all times. I'd say passion. I think, yes, I do agree with you that sometimes maybe what it is we think we are passionate about is fleeting. It keeps changing. I'd definitely say, bottom line, seek God's direction first. And something someone mentioned the other day is how, very interestingly, things that you have been doing or things that you have been taking part in throughout your life, there's a way they end up merging to whatever it is God has in store for you, or what he's planned for you. I think when I had that, I was so confused. I was like, okay, so what have I been doing all my life, and where does this lead me? But after some time, you just come and see you start seeing similarities. You're like, oh, I still do this. This I used to do when I was really, really young. This is what I was really interested in when I was really young, and this is where I'm at right now. And the more I think you definitely seek God, and I would highly recommend serving God in whatever capacity you're at. The more you put yourself out there and be able to serve God, I think even through that you get to know your abilities, you get to grow as a person, and that has helped in fine-tuning and redefining whatever God's purpose is for you. Yeah. So yes, definitely seek God. If you're at that particular place, serve. Do what is right in front of you as you also seek God. Yes. Anyone else with any parting shot? Ama ni hai tu kwa sasa?
Niko salama.
Yes.
Until next time, guys.
Haya, sawa. So tell us in the comments, have you been in that particular place of, trying to figure out what it is you want to do? That's one. And also, if you need someone to talk to, our church is open. PCA St. Andrews, we have people ready to talk and share and even help and guide you in as much as we can. So let us know in the comments. Come visit us as church. And of course, subscribe. Apo chini, there's a red thingy there. Yeah. Subscribe and share. Yes. God bless you. Until next time. Bye.